Good morning again. It's nice to have you all again here today. My name is Dual Ali. I am Marketing and Partnership Specialist at General Assembly. And I have to add this today that I'm a proud Ahliya graduate as well. I'll just give you a quick intro about GA, and I'm pretty sure that you've heard a bit about it since yesterday. So, GA, General Assembly, is an international tech academy. We are based here in Bahrain. Our campus is at BIBF, but it's an international academy. We have started in New York, 2011, and we have campuses all around the world between Singapore, UK, Montenegro, and we're expanding to Oman and Saudi as well. Yeah, you might be wondering what could you learn at General Assembly. Our courses diverse between engineering development, product management, UX design, data analytics, and AI. Some of the numbers that we are so very proud of that until now and since 3 years back, partnering with Samkeen, we have graduated around 1,000 plus students. 80% of those students have managed to land their jobs or have their startups or work as freelancers. 40% of those graduates are actually career shifters, where they started their careers as something and they ended up blending it with something else. And moreover, and last, we have around 300 plus hiring partners. And something about our GA grads and why they are in a way designed to get hired is because we offer career coaching and career support up to 9 months after graduation. We work on their one-to-one support, practicing their interviews and preparing their CVs, working on their LinkedIn. We work to have them prepare their portfolios while they're in the course. And they definitely by now, as SGA, have the employee trust considering the 300 plus partners. Before we get started, I'm going to introduce Dennis up here, and my role is done.
Thank you, Doc. Yeah, I'll use that. These are the clicker. Good morning. It's still morning, right? Yeah? Okay. Good morning. How are you? Good, good. Excellent. So, I mean, this is me, I hope. Hopefully I still look the same. So a couple of things about me. I came to Bahrain almost 2 years ago. Time just flies. Time just flies, man. But I came to Bahrain to work with GA, teaching software engineering. And while I'm here, Bahrain is a lovely place. I love it. So I decided to start a business here. That's what Motion is all about. So working through a startup, starting Motion, we went through the Mashrui program, and we were last year's winners. So with the support of Brick, Temkeen, Mashrui, we're starting to grow and move forward through the region and scale out from MENA all the way to USA and so on and so forth. I'm getting double mic here. Cool. Let's keep going here. Enough about me. So a couple of things to remember. It's just a workshop, right? Like, there's no complicated slides here, for example. This is just a very beginner level, high level set of workshop with a little bit of time for Q&A at the end. And obviously, we don't do this for free. All we ask is that you fill out a survey, right? Just fill out a survey, consider your debt paid, right? So let's just get into it. So what we're gonna do is, obviously we did the orientation. The whole point of this is to kickstart your business using AI. It's very straightforward. I wanna give you the tool set so that you're able to finish the day today with your business plan and a pitch deck, and give you some prompts that you could use to help speed up the process so that you can turn in your final product today. So we're going to use Gen AI to kickstart our business. We'll use AI to do a pitch and a plan, and then we'll kind of reflect on it, and we'll leave some time open for Q&A. So again, our main point is to kind of identify the opportunities that AI has, as well as practice a little bit of the skill sets for prompting and getting our plan up and running, and see how that helps us increase productivity, especially as a startup, as a new business, where we don't have all the resources. So, a couple of things that we just want to get off the, whoa, this thing's so loud. So a couple of things we just want to kind of get off the runway here is, a lot of people ask me all the time, how can AI help, right? What can I use AI or generative AI to kickstart my business? And there's really 4 major pillars where this can help out, right? One is content creation, right? I mean, how many people like responding to emails? I don't. I mean, I have to. Well, one person, yeah. A brave soul. I mean, ultimately, responding to emails takes time, takes thought, right? Drafting meeting summaries, right? That also takes time. Doing reports, posting on social media. There's like so much you have to do as a founder, as a CTO, as a CEO, that you have to kind of manage all of that. AI helps us with content creation. Gives us back the time that we have to spend in other places, right? Now, the other part that Gen AI is really useful, now this is obviously with a caveat, right? But developers are expensive, let's be honest here, right? My time is not cheap, and neither is the developer, right? They create product for you. So when you're trying to bootstrap something off the ground, you probably might want to get a proof of concept or a POC up and running that you want to get out there. So, AI can kind of give you something that you can present, maybe in an investor meeting, in a pitch deck, maybe when you're at Shirley, you want to bootstrap something just to kind of show it off. Coding assistant will be very helpful. It'll help you write and debug code. And you don't necessarily have to be an expert in programming, just have to understand what the product's supposed to do. Now, obviously, what's the caveat? You still need engineers to build you a scalable product. So it's not a replacement, it's a supplement, right? Now, I don't know about you, maybe this is a me problem. Sometimes I get stuck, right? I'm not the most creative person. I have creative solutions for problems that I might encounter, but I don't know everything in every single industry, right? For that, there's SMEs, like subject matter experts, right? But with AI, especially with how much information has been indexed from the internet, scraped, and so on and so forth, it's really good for research and ideation, right? It's really nice for you to be able to kind of bounce or ping pong ideas or get some fresh perspectives or save you time from Googling things to the end of the world, but just having AI summarize it, pull it up, aggregate it for you, right? So that's kind of the intention here. Now, and the last piece, which is also very, very common, which I get a lot. I get like, Dennis, can you build me a chatbot? Dennis, I need a chatbot. Dennis, but people are bothering me. I keep getting phone calls. And realistically, chatbots are actually pretty good, whether they're internal or external, right? You don't have to build some crazy smart AI. You can create something as simple as a chatbot for internal documents, right? You have a SOP or standard operating procedure. You can tokenize it. You can put it inside a database, and just have a chatbot to kind of allow your internal employees to understand what your process is, what some legal requirements are, how to talk to customers, where to find documents, so on and so forth. So let's look at a couple of real life cases. Now, these are nothing too crazy, right? They're very high level. We're just looking at how some of these things could help improve. So we're going to go over a couple of examples that talk about generative AI here. I apologize. As I get closer to this thing, it goes crazy on me. So we got a really small example here, and I feel like this one hits close to home, right? this is like a very small, family-owned business, LeCaine Gems, right? We have a couple here. They own this small startup. They have a family, and they. Can you hear me? Okay? Yeah. Did this thing turn off? Can you hear me? Okay? Yeah. Okay. Good. So this is a small startup, right? Owned by a small family. Obviously, you have to balance your life and your work, right? So one of the major issues that they were having was they were spending a lot of time with administrative tasks, right? And this is something you can easily automate, right? You could easily automate this by, automating invoicing, automating payments, automating, I don't know, billing, contacts, right? So one of the things that you could do here, again, there's real world numbers here that you could quantify, which is again, like I was saying, invoice related errors. How many times do you have to, oops, sorry, I forgot to bill you for this, or I billed you too much, right? AI can easily fix that, right? And again, one of the major things that you're getting back is time, especially time with your family. Right? These are real world quantifiable things that we don't think about when we talk about AI. We always think of AI as a tool that's going to do things for us, but we don't really think about the benefit that we get in our personal life. Let's look at another case study. So we got White Restaurant. White Restaurant is a pretty popular restaurant, I think in Asia, Singapore, Malaysia, that kind of stuff. And they have a lot of employees. So when you start to scale your company, one of the first things you're going to have to deal with is employees, managing employees, right? And if you have large dedicated HR staff, that's great. But not a lot of companies have the budget to hire a full-on HR department. And even if you have an HR department, they probably have to do a lot of different tasks, especially mundane tasks, that you could easily automate, right? So a couple of things that we can automate is payroll, leave management, right? Now, these things seem a little bit mundane, but ultimately, if you think about it, the more time your HR or your business, is spending on administrative tasks, the less time they're actually helping you grow your business or keep up employee engagement, right? Or making sure that your employees are happy with your current process. Our last case study, again, just finish it off here. Nothing too crazy, but for all of us that have kids, we always have to put our kids in something, right? In this case, we're going to talk about Little Happy Fish School. Again, they have multiple locations across the world, and if there's anything that I know about programs with kids, is you always have 1,000 questions before you can actually get to even go there. You're always asking all sorts of questions, right? Like, you're not going to put your kid in a random place. At least I wouldn't, right? So this is a real world problem. Obviously, they had an issue with a volume of messaging, just constant messaging over and over and over and over again, right? And it was hard for them to figure out, okay, well, which country or which location are these people messaging us about, right? So AI chatbot is a great place for that, and it's free. It doesn't sleep, right? Because if you think about it, you can't make someone work 24/7, right? You'd have to hire in different time zones to get that kind of coverage. So, hopefully we're kind of seeing the general idea of how generative AI can help your business. Now, obviously, what the case studies are really conveying or showing to you are how do we help businesses that are established scale up, right? But in this room, we're all startups, or at least we're in the ideation process, trying to get something off the ground, right? So let's look at how we can use some of these tools to not only help us refine our original pitch, refine our business plan, and get us into that position where we can start to scale. So there's going to be 5 major rules of prompting, okay? Everybody knows prompting. Everybody knows how to make me a chatbot, please. No mistakes, right? No mistakes or you go to jail. That's what we tell ChatGPT every time. No mistakes. Please do it perfect, right? But this isn't how AI works, right? I mean, AI is not like, especially generative AI, it doesn't actually do anything, right? It's a probability predictive model, right? It's just mathematics, right? But anything that has a formula can be optimized, right? So these are going to be 5 rules that you should be considering when you're going to be prompting your AI to help you speed up the process, right? So I'm going to go over them really quick, and then we're going to highlight them individually, right? So the first thing is be clear, be specific, right? Second one is specify format and length. Okay? Don't just let it just do whatever it wants, right? You should always ask for multiple perspectives, right? Now, in order for the AI to even be useful, you probably want to incorporate some priming statements, right? And then in the end, when did you ever do something the best on the first shot? Not me, right? I've learned through my career that it's all about rinse and repeat, iterative process, right? You learn from your mistakes, you go back, refine. You learn from your mistakes, go back and refine, right? So that's really good. That's not going to change, right? So let's be clear and specific, right? I mean, I think we can all agree. Tell me about making a cake. How many types of cakes are there? A lot, right? Do we all like the same type of cake? Probably not. So how's the AI going to know what you want? Right? So obviously the second prompt is going to be much more specific. It's very clear. You're telling it what you want. Don't let it guess. The computer's not good at guessing. The other piece that you probably want to really kind of refine here is make sure you tell it a format and a length. Right? Just because you're clear about what you want doesn't mean that it's going to understand how much of it you want, right? So for example, if I just say discuss the pros and cons of renewable energy, I mean, this is a very large topic, right? It can be overwhelming. How many people have asked ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude? I mean, you pick your flavor. Right? You pick your flavor, and how many people have asked it for something, and you got back literally an essay so large that you were scrolling through it, and you just literally just closed the window. I did. If there's no shame in that, right? So the reality is you need to apply some control, right? For example, list 3 advantages, 3 disadvantages. Is the AI going to give you 5, 7, 10? What do you think? It's going to give you 3, right? Let's just make it nice, controlled, specified. And when we talk about format, maybe I want it in paragraphs. Maybe I want it in a list. Maybe I want it in a table, right? Whatever you want, right? But you have to specify the format here. As for perspectives, this one you have to be a little bit careful with, right? Because we can kind of get into it a little bit, but there's a bias. Some people might ask, what is a bias, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, here's a very simple example of a bias. I like green. Red is bad. If you like red, are you going to say red is bad? No, right? But I have a bias. If I see something that's green, I'm going to say good. If you see something that's red, you're going to think good, right? So we have a difference of opinion, right? So it's really important that when we're talking about generative AI, which basically is a predictive model that looks at information that has been scraped or put together, it is really important that you put some controls by asking it for perspectives. Hey, can you give me two contrasting arguments? We just did a debate. Wasn't it nice to hear two sides of the same story before you made up your mind? Right? If you just see something from one side, how can you know you're going on the right track? And it's the same idea. We practice this every day in our life, but how can you expect the AI to give you the right answer if you didn't ask it to provide you a counter? Right? And especially when we're talking about things that impact society or things that are ambiguous. Sorry. So another piece, and this piece is not as obvious and critical. Some people are like, hey, I get it. And we do this all the time, right? But you need to incorporate a priming statement. Some people are like, oh, what's a priming statement? And it's actually not that complicated, right? If I come to you, and this is very simple, and I come to you and I say, hey, get milk. You're probably going to ask me a few questions about it, no? You're going to be like, okay, what brand? How much? Where? When do you need it? Right? So us humans, when we're talking to each other, we're not ambiguous. We usually say, hey, you know, we gotta make some karak, we're gonna need some milk, but we need to do that in half an hour. Can you please go to the closest store and get me 1 liter? And it's pretty clear what you want, right? So we have to exercise that same idea when we're talking to the AI. It's not like a mystic. It doesn't read our minds, right? So if you just say, tell me about remote work, well, tell me what? How far back? What information do you want? And it's something like this is also going to give you a bunch of fake answers, right? It's just going to make up some stuff for you. How do you know if it's real or not? I wouldn't, right? So, with all that in place, with all of that together, we can then start the churning process, right? Which is refine and experiment. How many people are familiar with scientific method? Scientific method? One person? 2 people? A lot of people probably familiar, just scared to raise their hand. It's okay, I'll raise the hand for you. But the idea of scientific method, for those not familiar, very simple. It's, hey, I have an idea. I think it's going to turn out to be this way. Let me go test it out. If it's correct, I try again and expand on it. If it's incorrect, I come back, I think about it again, and retry. So this concept of refine and experiment is literally the same concept, right? Where we start off with like something simple. When it comes to prompts, we start off with something simple, something to kind of get the ball rolling, something to get started, right? So like, hey, write me a poem about nature. All right, well, I mean, this stuff's fine. But then you're like, okay, this prompt is not very good. So let me expand this prompt with some of the ideas that we just put together, right? Hey, give you some context, give you some length, right? So, hey, give me a poem, 12 to 16 lines, and that captures the beauty of a serene forest. Okay, that might be good. It's a good second start, but you might get like a bunch of context that you may not necessarily want, right? So you might expand it even further, right? What happens if it doesn't give you the mood that you want? Like obviously if we're talking about a poem, we're talking about feelings here, right? Just like music, right? It invokes a feeling. So in this case, I would refine it further and kind of give it the same prompt, but I want to give it some kind of a feeling, right? Now obviously this is very generic, but this could be applied to your business as well. So we're going to do a little exercise. I know some people have laptops, some people have phones or whatnots, or you can just watch, it's not a big deal. All right, so we're going to do two major exercises. I hope that you were able to use these exercises. Wow, very loud. Hope you're able to use these exercises to help you refine your pitch and to help you create your slide deck. And inshallah, that you get the win at the end of the day, right? That's the game plan. So we're going to practice a couple of things. You don't have to. I have curated some prompts for you to help you. Now, my advice when it comes to prompting, obviously, as you refine, rinse, and repeat, what you want to do is please save your prompts. Create a Word document somewhere, Google Docs or Microsoft Word, whatever it is. Even if you put it on notepads or sticky notes, I don't care where you put it, right? But once you get a juicy prompt, you want to save those so you can reuse it, right? Here's a good example of a juicy prompt. I could take this prompt and fill in the generic pieces. And it doesn't matter what I plug into this, I can pretty much always get a consistent result. Now, it's not perfect, but at least it gets you started. So, what you could do is you go straight into the chat GPT, right? And take this prompt and we can iterate on it. Now, I've given you some scenarios. You don't have to think of anything. If you just want to try it out, risk-free. And I've even given you the refinement process, right? So we're going to go through all the 4 steps. So choose any of the following business ideas. There are going to be 3. We'll pick one together. I will somehow try to give you access to the 3 ideas. But we can do it together. We can choose together as a group. All right, we have option number 1. Before we look at the prompts, option number 1. Do we want to make an eco-friendly logistics company? No, you don't have to answer yet. No. Oh my gosh. Instant rejection. Option number 2. Do we want to make Cafe Aurora? Cafe Aurora. All right. Wow, Cafe Aurora, very popular at this table. Going once. Oh, hey, we got more bidders. That was a yes. Okay. Okay. That was a no. Okay. Style Gen, fashion platform. Oh, yeah. That's a close tie. That's a close tie. Let me go back here. All right. So either way, whichever one you choose, the prompts are there. So these prompts follow the 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So I'll do potentially the cafe. Let me see if I can screen share that. Where's our screen share buddy? Our screen share buddy is gone. Our screen share buddy is gone. Okay. I want you. There's screen share buddy. Screen share buddy. I'll give you a chance. Because you have to copy these into the chat GPTs, right? So I'll give you a chance to either write it down or do what you got to do. While I set, whoa, wow, there we go. While I set this up. Mm-hmm. Are you on the same Wi-Fi? I can't see you anymore. Winham guest. Now, okay. Let's go. Hey. There we go. Here you go. All right. All right. Here we go. I'm going to put this down. Okay. So I've already gone ahead and tested it out here for us, but we can make something new. Here, can I give you this for a second? So it doesn't echo. And then I'll pick it up after. No problem. This one, right? This one, right? Yes. Okay. So when it comes to using like an AI like ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever, right? We're just gonna kind of walk through the process that I would go through, right? Especially now when you're in this workshop, in this 2-day kind of like venture, to help you get this up and running really quick, right? So, and I can share this as well. We'll figure out a way to get this out to people, right? So you can kind of get a little bit of a vibe of how it works, right? So essentially, let me just find it. Let me just find it. Let me find it here. Let's go like that. Let's go like that. So let's look at Aurora Coffee Shop, for example, right? So remember, we want a priming statement, right? Remember, we discussed having a priming statement, right? So our priming statement would be this piece up here, right? What is Aurora Coffee Shop? It is a specialty coffee shop in Manama that uses AI to personalize customer experience and loyalty, right? So we've given it its 2 major tasks that we want to do for our startup. We're going to have this coffee shop. It's in Manama, so it understands cultural context, right? And what are the 2 parts that distinguish our business from any other coffee shop, right? We're going to use AI to improve customer experience and loyalty, right? Now, we want to say something like, hey, this coffee shop is great for participants who relate to hospitality or small retail business, right? Kind of go like that. So we can grab this priming statement, we can pop it in, no problem, right? Now, if you look at the prompt, how would I go about doing this? So if I go to something like ChatGPT, most people, they'll go straight into new chat. How many people go straight into new chat? Hands up. There's no shame. Straight into new chat. Okay? All the other people didn't put their hands up. It's okay. I understand. You don't want to admit to it. We don't want to do that. It's fine. It's fine to go straight into new chat if you just want to ask a couple of quick questions, right? The issue is that all these LLMs, they have limited context. And you might do some research, spend time on something, and as soon as you go into new chat, boom, it's gone. Right? So, and also, how many people have a long chat history? Like, I've been using ChatGPT for years. Years. As an early adopter, right?
I don't delete anything.
Yeah, well, exactly, right? And rightfully you shouldn't. But the problem is, how many people have tried to go through their history to find some chat that was very juicy, but they can't even remember where it was? And some brave people admitted it, but the reality is most of us, actually every single person here has encountered this. So what's the right approach? Make a project. Create a space, right? When we have emails, we organize our emails into buckets, right? We organize our work into folders. So why not organize your prompt or your research into folders within ChatGPT? This is just common sense, right? But it's, again, as soon as we throw AI out there, it becomes harder and harder. So I'll do a new project. I'll call this Aurora Cafe. And I'll create a project. You don't have to do anything crazy here. Just do your create project here. Boom, boom, there it is, right? Now, if you have other files that you want to If you have other files, like for example, you have a pitch deck, you have brand style guide, you have logos, you have all of this stuff, you should load it up. Just add file, load it up, load it up, load it up. The more context it has, the better it will be at giving you a direct answer, right? AI shouldn't waste your time, right? It should be a net positive. But if you just kind of say, hey, build business, cafe, it's not going to do anything for you. Let's be honest here, right? It's going to waste your time. So a couple of things that you could do, if you click the three dots here and you go to project setting, you're going to get a little piece like this, right? Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about this. Obviously, there's way more refinement that we could do, right? But this is a good place for you to establish tone, establish or control how it talks to you, what kind of customers you want to appeal to, and it will remember that every time it comes back to prompt you. So for example, for the sake of argument, I'll go to our slide here, and I'll take this context that we had up here, and I can just copy it. Oops, I could just copy it into this part right here. And then this is where the instructions, this is set the context, the customized ChatGPT for your project. Hit save. So now every time ChatGPT goes, and it's the same for Gemini or any other, or Grok, whatever you want to put out there. All right? Is this making sense so far? We're good? Yes? Amazing. So here's the next piece. I'm going to take my prompt, and let's read the prompt together in case you're not necessarily, following along. It's not a big deal. It is just for presentation purposes. But again, if I want to create a nice, robust prompt, I would say something like, okay, generate a detailed business plan for my business name, Cafe Aurora, right? It is a specialty coffee shop targeting remote workers and students in Manama. So notice we're giving it context as to who the customers are. We want this to be a business plan targeting these two very specific type of customers in this geographic location. So this will give it the context to go out and look for these type of user types, see what people are talking about, check social media. So it's going to cast a wide net in a specific context, right? And then what we want to say is this coffee shop has a focus on AI-powered customer experience, personalized loyalty programs, which was the core scope that we discussed when I gave it the context, right? Now, I'm going to give some background about myself, right? Which is, hey, I'm the founder, Layla Hassan. I'm a barista that turned into an entrepreneur that's passionate about tech-enhanced hospitality, right? So I'm also giving it a persona. Who owns this business, right? How should this sound, right? Because at the end of the day, the brand should reflect the owner and what the owner wants to put forward as well. Okay, so let me copy this. I'm going to bring it over. I've done it already before, but we're going to do it live. Off it goes. Now, obviously, depending on what settings you have, there's all sorts of like live research. There's all sorts of stuff that it could do. Now, this is pretty nice. This looks like a lot. I'm not going to read through all of this. This is obviously a lot of context, right? But it's already kind of starting to put this together, right? Here's the beauty of it. I asked for a business plan, right? They've asked you for a business plan here too, no? I think so, right? Oh, I'm going to keep going down. I'm going to keep up. Oh, you want to see the picture? You want to see the picture? There you go. There you go. Up to the prompt. I will do my best to try to get the prompts so you guys can practice it. Don't worry, I got you. Okay, and I'm not going anywhere. You can come and check my computer. I'll email it to everybody. I will email it, don't worry. So, here's the other deal. Here's the deal. Here, they've asked you for an executive summary, most likely, right? or any type of startup is going to ask you, hey, give us an executive summary. Like, what is this business about? Right? The other thing they're probably going to ask you is, what is your vision and your mission? Right? They're usually asking you, like, what are you trying to accomplish? Where do you see this company going? Right? This is very standard. The next piece they're probably going to ask you is, how viable is this company? Right? Like, what is the market opportunity? Right? Who are your customers? What are some of the trends that are happening? Right? The other piece with any kind of startup that they're going to ask you is value proposition. No? Like, what value are you bringing to the market? Why should someone come to, what do we call it, Cafe Aurora? Why should someone come to Cafe Aurora and not go to Caribou? Right? Caribou's right across the street, no? Yeah? We don't want to go to Caribou. We want to go to Cafe Aurora, right? And obviously product offering, there's a lot of stuff here. Now, remember what I told you about length? This is kind of overwhelming, no? It's a little bit overwhelming. So let's take the next leap and refine. We did it. Let's refine. No problem. Let's do it. So what's the next piece? Okay, let's take this business plan and let's refine it a little bit. Let's break it up into a couple of sections, right? Let's do an executive summary. Let's break it up into 7 sections and try to condense it a little bit, right? And let's make sure we are writing in a confident tone as well. Let it do its thing. So again, it's important to understand, I need the mic for this. It's important to understand that ultimately, this thing is going to give you a bunch of information. So thank you. The most important part is that we try to refine, right? It's not just about getting a big data dump. It's important that we refine as much as possible, right? So in the interest of time, I'm just kind of going to go through it. So again, it did what we were asking. It refined it. Notice it's not as overwhelming. Notice it got a little bit more concise, a little bit more targeted, right? This is now, the idea is we're trying to refine so that we can use this to make a pitch deck, right? A pitch deck is not going to be an essay. A pitch deck should just be quick bullet facts, right? Like even when I'm up here, you should be doing the talking. The pitch deck shouldn't be doing the talking. You see what I'm saying? Right? So we want to get to a point where we can refine with AI. Oops, let's go here. So let's do the next one here. So, and again, with what we got going on, with your business, it's important to understand that AI itself, okay, it's generative AI, it will help you kind of like build some of this and refine your pitch. But the beauty of it is, what we talked about earlier, is AI acts as an SME in multiple fields, right? Where normally, traditionally, we would have to go and hire someone. We'd have to pay for these services. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't hire an SME to do market research for you or to do any kind of like validation, but you can at least get a feel for what that will be. So our next prompt, what we're going to do is, okay, we're pretty happy with our pitch and the summarization. So let's kind of see from a hospitality tech advisor perspective, can you give me some insight into the GCC market and how cafes in the GCC market have integrated these AI tools, right? Basically, I want to refine it to make sure that our cafe that we're trying to build fits into the GCC market and it follows post-pandemic cafe culture in the Bahrain market, right? And again, could you do this by doing research? Yeah, why not? But before we do this, especially in a 2-day period, you're not going to be able to do all of that by yourself. So let's use AI to kind of help us get that off the ground. So again, the overall plan here is to try to refine this process, try to refine your pitch, right? But now we're refining the pitch that we're going to put forth with the help of another subject matter expert. In other words, let's look at the information that we built up without asking for any professional help, and let's get and refine this pitch from the perspective of some kind of subject matter expert, in this case, a hospitality expert. So we got our pitch, and last but not least, let's say we're happy with this, we got everything going, everything is great. We probably want to present this to investors, for example, or you want to present this at the end of today, right? When everybody goes up here and wants to win that juicy prize. So for that, we probably want to create some kind of a document, right? So we can use AI to do this content creation for us. Again, the whole point is let Gen AI do the heavy lifting for you. So what we're going to say is, okay, take this plan, and I want you to summarize it for me. Okay, let's summarize it into a 2-page investor brief, because who knows, maybe I'm going to run into somebody that's going to be interested in investing in my company. So let me create a simple 2-page brief that I could show to investors. Make sure that this brief focuses on return on investment potential, customer retention benefits, and scalability. Now, if I have an investor pitch, I probably want to sound persuasive. I want to convince somebody that this company is worth investing in, and I want to use confident language. And obviously, we don't want blocks of text. We want it to be nice, simple, bullet form. Right, which again is all about controlling the format, controlling the length. So let's do this. Let's refine the last one. Now, once it finishes with this, it should provide us with some kind of a PDF. If not, we'll prompt it for a document. Now, the beauty is, maybe you want a PPT. Maybe you want a PDF. Maybe you just want a Word document that you can easily change. It can give us any format we want. Wait for it to do its thing. Now, here's the thing. If we were to do this in a traditional way, how much time and effort do you think this would take? A lot, right? People were doing this for weeks and months before to get ready for any kind of a pitch. Now, obviously, I have a controlled, curated environment, as in I pre-wrote the prompts, I generated the examples, right? So I can quickly get this done, right? But you guys have all the information you need to get this done. You've been working on it for 2 days, maybe even longer, right? So the important thing is to establish the 4 controls that I gave you on writing good prompts. And I'm going to say, hey, can you give me the summary in PDF? It'll just generate the document for you. Now, while it does that, I'm just going to, now in the interest of time, I'll walk through how to create a pitch deck using something called Canva. Anybody use Canva at all? One person? Anybody else know what Canva is? What did you use Canva for, my dear? I'm sorry? For everything. Okay, I like it. What about in the back? You said you use Canva. Also for everything. Canva One-stop shop. Well, there was one more. Who else used Canva? I saw one more. And you, my dear. Same, but different, right? Okay, fair enough. Listen, Canva's great. And they've obviously made it a lot better with Canva AI. Some people don't use Canva. Some people use Figma. How many people here use Figma? Figma users here, same. Okay, so the thing about it, what we're going to use Canva. Canva's really nice for like just quickly prototyping some, again, Instagram posts, Facebook posts, any kind of like social media, making logos, and making pitch decks, right? So when we're going to be making pitch decks, again, we have the 3 scenarios. I have the second scenario that we're going to use. Now, I've already gone ahead and done this in the interest of time, but I'll show you what it's capable of. And the beautiful thing about Canva, if you haven't used it already, I would recommend that you go on Canva and sign up for a 30-day trial. Just don't forget to unsubscribe so it doesn't charge you any money, right? But at least you'll get Canva Pro for 30 days, and you can use the full features in this program to build a full-fledged pitch deck and use the AI without restriction, okay? That would be my advice. If you like it, you can continue. If not, you can wait for another 30-day free trial. Don't tell them I told you that, okay? So if I go to Canva, now if I come up here, you can see here that I'm just using the prompts that I've got here. So we'll go over the prompts. So when you're using something like Canva, I'll move out of the way so you can take a picture of the prompts. So if you're using something like Canva, again, we're going to use the 4-step process. Same 4 steps, right? It's get a baseline going, right? Then ask it to kind of add some more context, like add tone to it. Finally, once you kind of get the tone or the wording right, then we can start adding some controls on like, let's say, depth, right? Once you kind of get that going, the wording is good, the color, the branding, that's looking good, the numbers are looking good, then we can go into something like we do final refinement, where we start adding very specific things like what's your ask, what's your market readiness, some taglines, basically personalizing it, right? So if you look here, so I started off asking it, hey, can you just generate a general pitch? Here's some context. Now what I did, by the way, is you see here how there's a little PDF I've added? It's a little bit, you see how I'm hovering over a PDF? What PDF do you think that is? From ChatGPT, right? I'm not going to re-explain everything. The whole point is that you spend your time to get one agent to do your refinement process, and then you leverage that to help you with the other agent. So you're carrying that context over. Keep carrying that context over and make sure that you make the agents work together. So I went ahead, it gave me this. Now it is pretty nice, right? It gave me a couple. Now if I look here, this is pretty nice. Now it's not perfect. I'm kind of blocking it. We just go like that. I think this way is probably better, yes. Right, it's not perfect. Can we, please? Right, it's not perfect, but it's slowly getting there. Now, be careful. It's going to give you stuff like this. Does that look like safe to you? No, it doesn't, right? So just be careful. Always trust but verify, okay? Trust but verify. So just be careful with what you're getting out of it, right? But overall, it's looking and feeling really nice. So I asked it, I said, okay, no problem. Can you please refine the pitch deck? Highlight the rise of co-working culture, right? Specifically in Bahrain, and highlight the benefits of using AI to help you with that co-working culture in building a new business. So once I did that, boom, I came back with a couple of more slides. Right now, it is going to change things along the way, which is fine. Right? So the idea, I went a little bit too far. So the idea is that you pick the best option, right? Make sure that you curate what is written on the slides. So as a closing one, I asked basically, hey, can you put in these very specific pieces of information? For example, I'm seeking 50,000 BD in seed funding to expand my operations. And can you please include a brand logo? And can you also include something like my tagline, and keep it to 10 slides, right? The first one was giving me 15, 20 slides. That's too much. Nobody's gonna watch a 50-slide deck. It's just not gonna happen, right? Investors are not gonna sit there and listen to an essay. They want quick bullet points. What is it that you're offering? Why is it a good idea? How do you plan on making money? How do you plan on growing this business? How much money do you need from me? You need to answer those 5 questions as quickly as possible, right? And that's your goal, right? And that's the goal of this. So once I got that, we got a couple of options. I kind of like this one. I feel like I like this one. It gives me those good vibes. I feel like I would like to go work at Aurora Cafe. So, all fun and games and everything, but ultimately I hope you can really start to see some of the value, right? Like, I'm not a designer. I can't go and build these slides from scratch. I'm an engineer, right? My creativity is built around solutioning problems with code, right? I'm not like a creative. If you ask me to draw something, it will be the worst stick figure you've ever seen in your life. I can't even get a stick figure right. So I'm not a creative in that respect, but with the help of something like AI, I can leverage that as a partner, right? It can augment what I'm doing. So, here we go. We made it. Give yourself a clap. Come on. Give yourself a clap. Not for me, for yourself. You made it. Right? Honestly, listen, coming to a place like this, like listening to me is the easy part, but you guys are the ones trying to build a business, right? You guys are the ones taking the risk of doing the startup, spending your time coming here, trying to build something, trying to pitch it. It takes nerves. I know. Hopefully with this little workshop, or at least some of the information that I've given you, you're able to speed up this process, make it easier on yourself, right? And are able to maybe supercharge what you already had going on. If you can do that, you already made my day. Now, like, remember I told you, nothing in this world is free, right? Nothing is free. So for the small price of one QR code survey, we've brought to you this presentation. If you could be so kind as to fill out the survey. You remember, tell them, you said Dennis is the best. Just kidding. While you do that, let me just get some water. Did everybody get a chance to scan the QR? I'll give you another couple of minutes. It's a pretty simple survey. It's not a big deal. Okay. All right. So obviously, we have a shameless plug here. Like, uh, you know, like I said, nothing is free, right? But I mean, ultimately, listen, I'm here, I'm doing business, I'm growing my startup here. We got recognition. We're moving through the region. We already got validation in the United States. We have cash flow in the United States, but it wasn't possible if not for General Assembly providing the right support, Brink providing the right support, Tamkeen providing the right support, and Mashrui, right? And these are all in line together, right? Without Tamkeen, GA wouldn't be here, or at least we wouldn't have the type of support, right? Without Tamkeen, there wouldn't be Mashrui either. So why am I even getting at this? In GA, we offer a bunch of different programs depending on what it is that you want to do, right? Me personally, I teach software engineering. Now with software engineering, what we try to focus on is building products, right? Whether that's helping you figure out how to build with AI or build your own business or building products, that's what we do. But we also have other programs. We have UI, UX, and design, right? That is more on the product development side, not coding, right? We have data analytics, data science, if you're more into numbers, if you want to figure out more analysis. There's other programs. Please check out the website. If I understand people have jobs, family, or just have a hard time waking up during the morning. I totally get it. So for that, we have part-time programs. Okay, I promise, no more shameless plugs. No shame. Okay. Alhamdulillah. So I'll leave it open for some questions. If you don't have any questions or you don't feel comfortable asking questions in the greater group setting, it's okay. I'll be around. I will be happy to come around. I'll come to all the tables, see what you guys are up to. I'm personally, genuinely curious to see what you're building, right? So you're welcome to ask me questions personally. But if there's any questions, please let me know. Yes?
For young entrepreneurs, what do you recommend to outsource to AI and what do you recommend to keep your hands on?
What do I recommend to outsource? Well, okay, so for young entrepreneurs, it's not a one-size-fits-all question, unfortunately, right? Because it comes back to what your team strengths are, right? So if you have a team of designers, are you going to outsource design? Probably not. You're going to have to outsource coding or engineering to something like an LLM, right? Now, on the flip side, it's the same thing. If you have a bunch of people who are fintech, you understand finance, you understand numbers, you can do analytics, right? But you're not that good at coding or design. Well, so it's really about understanding your personal team strengths and then using AI as a subject matter expert where you have a gap, right? Thank you. Good question.
Thank you.
Do you guys have questions? You do? Let's do it. Oh, okay. I thought you guys had a question. Are there any other questions? I mean, this means that yes.
Hello, and thanks for the presentation. I'm not sure if I heard a lot about your company, is it, or
Mean Emotion?
projects? Yeah, I
Yeah.
would like to know more about what you've done and your story.
My story. Oh, my story goes a long way. uh, well, okay. So for Mean Emotion itself, we can discuss that. So, which is actually interesting. So I was working. Okay, so let me back it up here. I was not software engineering originally. I was finance and accounting. All right. So my background is finance and accounting, specifically like credit adjudication, like loss mitigation, things like that. And how I got into like software engineering was through literally just building products to automate processes and eventually starting a company to do that. That was a lot of fun. And then somebody came and said, hey, I don't want Excel. Can you give me a website that I can log into? Okay. So that's how that kind of started. And then I formalized it. So I totally understand like the whole idea of like career shifting, starting a business, all this other stuff. So fast forward here. So in GA, along my journey, I did logistics, especially more like fleet management logistics. So like helping large corporations like with thousands of vehicles manage their vehicle drivers and where they should go, when they should come, pick up, maintenance, things like that. So I met someone here, a student of mine, funny enough. And then we were just talking and he wanted to automate logistics here. FMCA, I think it is called. So there's a standard in North America. He's from California, he's Bahraini, but from California. And he wanted to bring some of the standardization and kind of like give gig work to local Bahrainis to try to help them kind of like generate more income. Does that make sense? Right?
Kind of.
Yeah. So essentially, like, let's say you have a vehicle that could take some pipes to Qatar, but you're going to visit family in Qatar anyway, or visit family in Oman, so you would take stuff with you. So kind of do something like that.
Okay, all right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
Right?
I just wanted a brief, like very, very quick.
Yes. Well, nothing is quick when it's complicated. But yes.
Thanks.
No problem. I can tell you more, by the way. Oh my gosh. I think, listen, I want to come around and kind of meet people, see what they're building. Everybody has different teams. I'm assuming based on your table, it depends on what you're building kind of thing. So I do want to have like a quick kind of look around. I think we're good to go. Please, if you have any questions, just come around, tap me on the shoulder, and I'll be happy to answer. Halas. Yes, thank you.